Okay, so hello everyone. We'll continue with our part 2 of our first chapter. So we'll be focusing more on Java in general. So why Java? Now the answer is that Java enables users to develop and deploy applications on the internet for servers, desktop computers, and small handheld devices. Okay, so it's very flexible as a programming language in which we could call this as cross-platform. Okay, so pwede siya sa mobile devices, pwede siya sa internet, pwede po siya sa tong desktop. Okay, so nga na. So the future of computing is being profoundly influenced by the internet. Okay? So it's very evident karon, okay? Ato ang mga devices, itong mga electronic devices, most of this has a capability to connect to the internet or interact to the internet. Okay? And Java promises to remain a big part of that future. Okay? So Java is considered as the internet programming language. Okay? Now, not entirely the only programming language, but it is one of the major programming language that you can learn, okay, so that you could create applications on the internet. Java is considered as a general purpose programming language. Sa ibot pasabot ana, okay? Opposite, di ba? Opposite sa general purpose is specialized, okay? Now, general purpose is in a good way presented here kay, di ba? As what I've mentioned earlier, okay? Pwede siya sa mobile phone, pwede siya sa ato ang PC, okay? So, pwede siya bisag asa, okay? So again, it is an internet programming language, okay? So Java can be used to develop standalone applications. Buot pasabot anang standalone applications is it is an application that could work on its own without any form of connectivity. Okay? So parehas anang mga common nato nga mga application nga makita sa tong computer. Let's say kanang mga MS Paint, okay? Kanang Word, singana. So, kana, standalone. Java can be used to develop application running from a browser. Okay, so pwede we could create a Java program, okay, to create applications that is actually embedded to another application. Okay, in this case a browser. So natay ginatawag ng mga applet, mga plugins. Okay, so pwede nga na ang Java. Okay, these applets and plugins helps the user interact with, let's say, a website, okay, in a much more convenient, okay, fashion. Okay, so again, Java can also be used to develop application for handheld devices. We have mentioned that earlier, and can be developed applications for web servers. Okay, so even though Java is capable of doing this, we'll only be focusing more on developing standalone applications. Okay, basic lang sa. Okay, so we start simple and we progress with more, we could say, capable ng mga application. Not necessarily complex, okay, but capable lang, okay, or practical, okay, solutions. So Java's history, so mo niyang history, okay. So you'll not be reading that. So characteristics of Java, okay, unsay naa sa Java, what makes it different, okay, not really entirely different, but what makes it what are its features kibale, okay, as a programming language. So Java is simple, okay. Since this is considered as a high level language, di ba? In our previous part, we talked about how levels of programming languages uh, differs in a way that the higher the language, the much easier it is to learn, okay, for us. So Java, okay, is simple. It is actually modeled on C++, another programming language, okay, but is greatly simplified and improved. Okay, C++ is a great programming language, but Java tried to model, okay, or the creators of Java tried to model another programming language in which it utilizes the advantages of C++ but remove some of its negative aspects. Okay, so it's like an improvement of C++. Okay, so some people refer to Java as C++ minus minus because because it's like C++ but with more functionality and fewer negative aspects. Okay, kana Java is considered as a simple programming language. That is why we are using this in our course. Next is Java is object-oriented. So, di pa kayo ninyo ni ma-appreciate karon, okay? But later on, okay, if you progress with your programming career, okay, object-oriented programming is the current trend, okay? Or the not only the current but the foreseeable trend in programming, okay? So, initially, okay, in our course, okay, we'll be focusing more on procedural, okay? Procedural programming, okay? So, don't worry, okay? Procedural is in general much easier, okay, much easier to learn compared to OOP. OOP is just like an refinement, okay, a refinement of your procedural, okay. So Java was designed from the start to be object oriented. So mao na gid na iyahang programming paradigm, okay. So OOP or object oriented programming is a popular programming approach that is replacing traditional procedural programming techniques, but it doesn't mean nga dili ta magtunog procedural kay diha pud na magsugod ang tanan. Mura ra nagkong di ba? If we want to learn math, okay, we need to learn it as basic, okay, as a basic application or as basic uh, teachings, di ba, sa tong when we were in our kindergarten, okay, tudloan pa gyud ta og 1 plus 1 nga 1 plus 2 basic arithmetic kay di pa man gyud ta kabalo ng, let's say, you could not expect a child to learn immediately algebra, okay, without learning the basics, okay. And if you are having trouble with uh, the basics, lisod pod nga mo diretso mo sa mas advanced, okay, advanced nga level. Okay, so one of the central issues in software development is how to reuse code. So OOP aims to solve that. Okay, but karon di pa nato na focus gyud ang how we efficiently create a program. Okay, atong focus is how we create our program that is at least working correctly. Okay, so mao na ato ang goal. Of course, we'll be learning basic programming practices. Okay, so di ba, as I've told you in our first part, it's very important that we practice some good ethics, okay, or work practices when creating Java programs. Okay, so ato nang anam-anamon pod og implement, okay, para naatay good habits, good programming habits nga ma-develop. So Java is distributed. So along with what I've stated earlier, that Java is capable of creating an application that connects multiple devices. Okay, so essentially this is that characteristic. Java is interpreted. Now this is not entirely Java is not entirely interpreted. Actually, it's a combination of being compiled and interpreted. Okay, but in order for you to run Java, interpreter na siya. But in order for you to make a Java in order for you to create a Java application, okay, i-compile sana siya. But ang ihang execution is interpreted. So siguro medyo libog sa inyo ha, but that is Java, okay? It's partially compiled and it is interpreted when you're running, okay? So you need an interpreter to run Java. So the programs are compiled, as you can see here. The programs are compiled into the Java virtual machine code called bytecode. Okay, so later on, if you'll get to create our first program, makita nato nga when we have a source file, okay, we compile that, na bytecode nga ma-generate. When we're going to run our application, it will actually depend on the bytecode, okay, for it to run. So the bytecode is machine independent and can run on any machine. So you could actually copy this bytecode from one computer to another as long as that computer is installed with Java. Okay, so pwede na nato na ipadagan. So the bytecode is machine independent and can run on any machine that has a Java interpreter, which is part of the Java virtual machine. Okay, so the JVM, you could only have that if you're going to install Java in your program, okay, or in your computer, I mean. Now it doesn't mean that if mag-install mo og Java sa inyong computer, automatic na mo maka-program. No, okay? You still need to have what we call a JDK or a Java Development Kit. We'll be discussing that later. Next is Java is robust. Sibuot pa sabutan ng robust. Robust ligon. Okay? So, Java compilers can detect many problems that would first show up at execution time in other languages. Okay? Ang kanang execution time mahitabo na siya once you have compiled your after you have compiled or interpreted your program, inyo na ipadagan. Okay? So, manang running time, execution time. Okay? Java lahi iyahang procedure. Okay? You could only execute a problem or a program in Java, okay, once you have compiled that, if it is compiled correctly. Okay, so if nagani sayop ana, okay, we call that as compile error. Okay, we will discuss more about errors later. Okay, so kung nagani sayop ana, okay, dili niya na ilahos og compile, mag-error na siya telling the programmer that there is something wrong syntactically with your program. I will not compile that. You need to fix that first. So mao na siya ang one of the robustness of Java compilers. So Java has also eliminated certain types of error-prone programming constructs found in other languages. Okay? Some say because of this medyo hassle tunan or lisod tunan, but really it's just another way of making your application more robust. Kay dili man pod nga you could actually create a program, you could actually run a program nga it seems like normal, it seems like running correctly, but sayop di ay. Okay? So napo tayo matawag nga mga errors nga dili lang compile, napo tayo mga logic errors nga na. Okay? So Java also has a runtime exception handling feature to provide programming support for robustness. Okay? So naa siya murag mga timailhan nga unsay error, okay? Or naay error diha. So it tries to help you, okay, in solving that error. Okay? Mga exception handling. Okay, na siya nakita nga sayop, iyahan nang i-grab nga sayop, okay? And iyan na ipakita sa inyo nga sayop mo ani nga part sa inyong program, okay? You need to fix that first. Okay? So that is Java being robust. Java is secure, okay? Ang buot pasabot ani is it protects your system against harm caused by stray programs, okay? So let's say you are trying morning kaning naka-advantage pud aning na ay JVM, okay, na virtual machine, okay, ang Java, okay. Kay dili niya ipadagan sa direct nga hardware. Let's say you are dealing with programming that magkubi, okay, iyang hilabtan ang hardware, iyan na siya i-configure sa hardware, okay. Now if you've done that, if you mishandle that, okay, or if you are careless enough, okay, in other programming languages, okay, possibly it will cause permanent damage sa inyong device. Okay, so Java prevents that. Okay, so dili niya ipaagi diretso, okay, naa siya JVM para ana. So next is Java is architecture neutral. So para sa tong giingon kanina nga it is cross-platform, kay a platform could be considered as an architecture, okay? So you write it once, you run it anywhere, okay? So as long as it has a JVM installed, okay? So you can write one program that will run on any platform. So Java is portable, okay? Medyo related sa siyang previous characteristic. Okay, since it is architecture neutral, Java programs are portable. So they can be run on any platform without being recompiled. So Java's performance, okay? Java's performance. I think it's Java's perform because Java is architecture neutral, so it's actually supporting statements lang or supporting characteristics for Java being architecture neutral. It is multi-threaded. So multi-threaded programming, it involves you creating a program that capitalize on the multiple threads of a computer, of a processor. Okay? So dili kay nato na ma-appreciate, dili kay nato na magamit karon, it's basic naman, but Java, okay, if you progress with this programming language, okay, in its advanced application, so pwede na to na siya i-multi-threaded. So Java is dynamic. Okay, it was designed to adapt to an evolving environment. So new code can be loaded on the fly without recompilation. Okay, so there is no need for developers to create and for users to install major new software versions. So new features can be incorporated transparently as needed. Okay, this is very much applicable or true sa mga web-based nga mga Java applications. Okay. So these are the different characteristics of Java. So JDK, okay, so I have mentioned JDK kanina. So you could actually run a program written in Java, okay, as long as you have a computer which has Java installed in it. But it doesn't mean nga maka-create mo program. Okay? Di ba? So dili automatic nga if mapakapadagan ta, okay? Maka-create pud ta. We need to install another set of software called a JDK. Okay? JDK stands for Java Development Kit. Kaning mga versions, okay, in every almost all programming languages, okay, nasa yung mga versions, okay, in every versions is an improvement of the previous version, added functionality or fixing of bugs, fixing of instability, okay, yung mga security patches nga na. So kaning version na to karon 1.8, okay, we'll see later on sa latest no version sa JDK. So I will be showing you how to install Java in your computer, okay. And also sa kadtong walay access sa computer but has access sa internet, okay, and have only access to an Android device, okay, I will show you an online resource in which you could run and compile Java programs. So natin klase-klase nga JDK, okay? Depende kung sa tong gusto mo ng application, di ba? As you remember, Java is capable of creating device programs for different devices, different platforms, okay? So in each platform, each device, we need to have the correct JDK for that, okay? So ang Java Standard Edition or J2SE can be used to develop client-side standalone applications or applets, okay? So what this means is you could create programs that are not necessarily required to connect to the internet, or if it's so, okay, it's more on sa client side, okay. So when we say client side, napo tayo ginatawag nga server side. When you are actually in the internet, you play as the client, okay, you serve as the role as a client, you play as the role as a client, okay. A client, okay, request information from the server, and if that information is present, then the server will provide that to the client. So mara na pinaka basic niya. But so Java, okay, nasa nga na, okay, we will be focusing more, or we'll be using JSE as our JDK. Next is Java Enterprise Edition. So morning sa server side na. So J2EE can be used to develop server-side applications such as Java Servlets, Java Server Pages, and Java Server Faces. So di na to na magamit sa atong course. Next is Java Micro Edition. So J2ME can be used to develop application for mobile devices such as cell phones. Okay, so pwede na siya. So again, we use J2SE to introduce Java programming. So, popular Java IDE. So, these are not really the only two popular, but they are popular, okay? When we talk about IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, okay? These are tools which could help you quickly develop a Java application. But, if you are learning a programming language, okay, it is advised not to learn through IDEs. Nga naman, kaning sa IDE, automatic naman gud nila gina-provide ang mga codes. Okay? Gamay lang nga type tab, ilahan ang i-complete. So, IDEs are used by professionals, okay? If they already know the basics, they are confident enough to know unsay pulos anang gisulat diha, then they're going to use that and automatic siya mo fill up sa iyahang code. Okay? So, those are some IDs. Napay IDs nga dili kayo nga na ka suggestive or dili nga na ka murag advanced kibali. Okay? More like kanang coloring lang, theme nga na. So we'll probably using some of that type of IDE. Okay? But I will be focusing more really on using Notepad, okay, or a text editor. Then we need to have a compiler. We manually compile that and run that in our application, our applications. Okay.